Okay, this is trial 2 because I got interrupted the last recording and then I didn't know how to pause and turn back on, so I lost like all this. But I rambled a lot, so I'm gonna do better this time. I wanted to go through, so it's like mid-November, and so we're closing out this semester, going into Christmas break, and then starting up next semester. Even though we plan to homeschool year round, I do sort of like, because Drew's still in, in public school, I still like to have it sort of be structured that way. It's good for my brain, so then I can kind of get a sense of how far we've gotten and like what still needs to do. So let's start with math. So let's start with general. I mean, this year beyond better than last year. We still have our ups and downs. It's very structured though because we have Mrs. Guest 2 times a week reading, Mrs. E 2 times a week math, and then I do the other 3 days of like all of other language arts supporting math with reviews and science and we'll say history or social studies. And so that's kind of what we're doing. I have bought an art book. We haven't done much of that. And then I have all of these sort of like puberty books, like health books that we talk about and look at as she's interested, but I'm not really trying to push it just yet. I may need to do that next semester. So math, we don't have a curriculum, which I think made me super nervous before now. But what I can say is that it works for us. Mrs. E teaches in the public schools around here. She teaches 5th grade. She comes and nurses the concepts. What we've gotten through this semester is we've gotten multiple digit division, decimal, addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. And then working on fractions now. She has equivalent fractions she knows, but then she's also working on least common multiplier and raised common factor. So that's kind of required before you start working with addition and subtraction of fractions. So we're spending a little time on that. So a lot of my stuff comes from Teachers Pay Teachers, and she really requires, and then also have a few workbooks. So we finished up Kitten Math 1. This is Kitten Math 2. I went ahead and bought it. I won't start this semester. Like I'll wait until the spring and do this. But Kitten Math 1 was a great hit. I sort of took them out, put them in those clear cover bindings, put them in a folder, so it's kind of like a little book, and she really enjoyed it. So this is exciting to do Kitten Math 2 next semester. I also use a lot of these little books. Like I used to be a huge Humble Math fan. I still like them, but I've gotten to where I really like this series better, and that's because this one doesn't, but a lot of times they have the grids, and she does everything on graph paper, so this kind of comes with grids intact, so that's very useful. And so we're fractions, decimals, and percentages, and then I'm going to just keep reinforcing everything. So we have some addition, subtraction, decimals. I got a little bit sort of like, she just still can't tell time. So I bought a whole book on telling time that I'll put in a little bit. And then I sort of went out on the limb. It wasn't an expensive one to do this key to measurement series. I've seen a couple of people get key to fractions, and I liked it because there's a lot of pictures, and this is just sort of how to measure things. And these are American measurements or English units is what they say, and not metric units. So this is this was like a series sort of like how to use units of length, and she's like, oh, this is so easy, but then it's gonna quickly get to fractions, right? Because we're gonna do 1/4 of an inch, 1/2 an inch, all of that. So she could do several pages of this a day, and so we'll get through. There's 5 of these, but we'll for sure finish this before the end of the year. And then the decision will be, do you do the metric version or move on to something else, and who knows. But we're already starting this, and again, she can do several pages a day. So how math looks on my 3 days is we do at least one, not worksheet, we'll do like several problems reinforcing what Mrs. E is introducing. So that's least common multiple, right now. I'll do at least a couple of pages of this, and then I'll do another reinforcement worksheet. And then I'm also sort of like finishing this off. This is a 3-4 multiplication Minecraft. I said like I wasted. It's a beautiful notebook. This is really basic for her. She can definitely do 2-page it. Like she can do front back every time. So this will get thrown in there as well on my days. So essentially she does some review of current and then some review from all of this stack. I can pick 2 things extra, and we'll probably do measurement and then one other for the rest of the year. And that's what we're going to do. And that changes, I'll let you know. But I'm more confident, how about that, in my math curriculum than I was. So that's huge. All right, so language arts. So as you know, what we sort of did, it was sort of like a whim. I bought the Hearth Story Complete 5th Grade Language Arts program. And that's the same lady that wrote History Quest. And I just did it. And it's not expensive. It's a complete digital curriculum for like less than $30. And right now it's on sale. So I just got it. And it's all the components. So there's brain food, which we're not doing yet. That's, I don't know what that is. It's like idioms and logical fallacies and stuff like that. So we didn't start that section yet for a variety of reasons. Then there's writing, and I bought 4th grade writing and 5th grade writing. We've hit a little bit of a wall with writing that we're going to work through. And then there's the grammar section, the spelling section, the poetry section, and the novel study section. So we finished Gregor the Overlander, and we finished the short story of The Steadfast Tin Soldier. And those were great. And actually at the end of The Steadfast Tin Soldier, there was a prompt for her to write her own short story, and she has an amazing outline. So I'm excited to get that on paper because I think that'll give her some confidence in writing, and maybe that'll jumpstart us for the other writing. We also use this 180 Days of Spelling. So we're not going to finish the spelling lists in Hearth Story, and we're not going to finish this. But I like this series because it's so straightforward, and it addresses this synonym-antonym piece, which is important, and she likes that, and we don't get that in Hearth Story. So I do like these. I don't think I'll do them next year. I don't think I'll do this next year. I think we're going to just do Hearth Story. I actually just bought the 6th grade curriculum. Not a huge risk, right? It's under $30. I won't print it until next summer, but I felt confident enough that I would use it as long as we're homeschooling, and so I went ahead and got it and downloaded it. So I think this is going to go away next year because I really love the stop spelling list next year. As you know, we don't do spelling tests or anything like that. And I really love the way they do vocabulary next year. So this is really going to go away. The other thing we do in language arts is Fix-It Grammar. And she's finishing up level 1. She's on week 22, so she has like 6 weeks left, and those are 4-day weeks. So probably maybe early part of the year we'll finish up book 1, and we'll start book 2. And at some point this is gonna lap us, right? So it'll all wash out, and it'll all wash out. So we're going to keep this. I already ordered the next section because we'll be into that sometime next semester. And it's 1 sentence a day, and so I do think we will keep this next year. And the reason is because this is the curriculum I used through the summer. So Hearth Story will end. We're about halfway through, and once we finish the lessons, I'm not going to have her do those until we usually start sometime in July. And this will be Fix-It Grammar. Keeps us all the way through summer. So math and grammar kind of are our stays, and then we'll pick up Hearth Story again in the fall. And so the readers for next semester for the Hearth Story are The Last Mapmaker and The Giver, and The Last Mapmaker is thicker, which I think is why it's sort of probably meant to be started now in this semester. Now let me explain. She does not read these to me. She reads with Mrs. Guess out loud 2 hours a week. So don't come for me. But we do audiobooks, and that's why we stay ahead. So if we had to read these, we would never finish. Let me just tell you. So audiobooks allows her to be exposed to the story, exposed to the sentence structure, exposed to the grammar, and allows us to answer questions and do the reading comprehension without the stress of doing the reading out loud. Because I would have to. I would never let her read silently because she wouldn't read. That's just how it is. Now, science and social studies social studies has taken the biggest shift. So we're doing the Waldock Way state study. We're trying to also do national parks, but we ended up dropping that. We're at like 30 states. And so we also had Curiosity Chronicles, which I like, but it's not, I don't know. I think I'm just not a history person, so it's hard for me. She loves Curiosity Chronicles. And again, we use the audiobook. This is very interactive. But it was too much for me. It was just too much. Like, I just couldn't handle it all. So we're going to just get through states, which I think we could do by Christmas or early in January. So we're going to get all 50 states done. And then maybe go back to Curiosity Chronicles and listen to it from there. And so that's still a work in progress. I also bought History Quest and started listening to it. And she likes Curiosity Chronicles. I like History Quest better. She likes Curiosity Chronicles better. So I liked History Quest because it kind of got through all of American history in 1 year, which I was starting to feel the pressure that we weren't hitting what we needed to hit. But I'm letting it go. So we're going to do states, and then next year we're going to pick back up on history. And to be determined. Now, science, it's like a weird epiphany that I had. So we do Sassafras Science. This is an elemental science curriculum. They also have science chunks. A lot of people use their science chunks. So there's Blaine and Tracy. They're twins. They go on these adventures with their uncle, and they travel all over the world. And they learn about science. So this semester was botany. We do audiobook. We finished this book last week. A lot of information in it. It's a nice story too, but it's also like packed with information. So the sections are, you have the book, the audiobook, then you have this sort of, I think this would be like a teacher's guide. They call it a guide to, but I think it's a teacher's guide. Then we have the lap booking pages, and they kind of like, most of them are like this, where there's like the picture and you're supposed to write, and then there's some vocabulary that shows up. So, and then there's also like a science experience section, which I haven't purchased. So we have the in-person guide and book, we have the audio book, and then we have the digital lap booking because I don't use every section. We've not done the experiments. So it occurred to me as we're studying this, so you basically, like, she looks at the picture and she says, like, hey, this is a like let me see. Like this, so this is part of the lap booking. These are terms, right? And then we have these pages. So this is a dwarf birch shrub. So it tells you that, and then you're supposed to write some things you learned about it in addition to that. And I guess we got to something that was like an ombu tree or something, and I was like, I have no idea what that looks like. I have no idea what any of these things look like. These little pictures do not help. So I went on ChatGPT, and it takes a while, guys, but it's a very powerful resource. And I made these cards, which are like all of the different things that are in the book with the little picture and stuff. And that's so. And I think we're going to go back, because what we do is we finish this often very early, and then we kind of work our way through the learning piece. So I think I'm going to, because we go back also to do geography, because we talk about where the twins are after the book's done, and we go through and we mark like where all they went in what order on our globe. And I think I'm going to also go back and add these color pictures to her lap book, but then also as we move forward, use the color pictures, because I don't know why I didn't think of it before. Zoology and anatomy maybe just wasn't, I don't know. I mean, she knew what all the animals looked like, so probably that's it. So botany. So what are we doing next? So we've already ordered the Earth Science number 4, and I order the book, the guide, the lap booking. The only thing I don't get is the logbook. And this time, my husband's like, she would love science experiments. So I think she probably would. So they sell it in like a complete year. So you can't just buy the science experiments for like book 4. You would buy them for 3 and 4. So I bought it. It's coming. So maybe we'll do some with number 3 experiments. And then, so we're going to do it. So then I also bought this because we're going into earth science. And I thought, let's have a puzzle. So I bought a puzzle. We got a structure. And earth science, it's a little intimidating because it's going to be earth science and then like astrology and then like, so it encompasses so much, and it's a big focus in our local public schools and middle school, so it's not going away. So I'm trying to think about middle school and how we're going to get that exposure and structure and go from there. So earth science, Sassafras Science. So I think that's everything. So what was the thing I think I'm going to do? So I don't know why, but I thought, I guess I saw some videos. People do like Christmas school or whatever. And I said, I don't know about this. But then the Waldock Way has 2 novel guides that kind of encompass like most of language arts. So like it's designed for you to like take everything away except for math and just do that study for like 5 or 6 weeks around Christmas. And she has 2 of them. She has A Christmas Carol, and then she has the best Christmas pageant ever. So they're very reasonable. They go on sale starting tomorrow. All of her stuff does. I know I was already gonna buy some other one of hers that I was gonna buy. I really like her stuff. And so I think I'm going to do the Christmas Carol. And so I'm going to get it. It'll be like $7. I'll download it. I'll take a look at it. And it might just be that when we get to Thanksgiving week, when we get to like a natural stopping point in all of this, that we just do a Christmas Carol and move on. So I think that is, it's exciting. It's not something I've delved into, but I do think she sort of would like the idea, and that we would read out loud, we might do an audiobook, but I think because it's a picture, it's an illustrated, it's unabridged, but it's illustrated, I think we would do that out loud and kind of work through it like more formally, and that will kill 2 birds with one stone, which is getting a little bit of that reading in during the day, because right now she's super resistant to listening to any reading, and so maybe that'll pull the Band-Aid off of that. So A Christmas Carol or Best Christmas Pageant Ever, and I may just buy them both and sort of see which one speaks to me. And then save the next one, always do it next year, right? And that's it.